Hi everyone, welcome to Analyst Spot. My name is B. Mohammed Soeb and I'll be explaining you how to classify iris dataset by using k-means clustering algorithm under unsupervised learning. This is my GitHub account and I have provided all the codes and CSV files here. This is a beginner level project and the task is from the given iris dataset, predict the optimum number of clusters. Try to form clusters of flowers using petal width and petal length features, dropping two features for simplicity, and finding optimum number of clusters using elbow plot. Before going to the code, let us know what is iris dataset. Iris dataset was found by Ronald Fisher in 1936. In his paper, he had published about iris dataset. This contains 50 samples from each of the three species of iris. The species are Iris setosa, Iris virginica, and Iris versicolor. The features of iris are sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width in centimeters. Based on the combination of these four features, Fisher developed a linear discriminant model to distinguish these species from each other. I have provided the link for the dataset here. You can go to that. And these are three species of iris, that is Iris setosa, versicolor, and virginica. Now let us go to the code. The elbow method. Steps used in this are importing, visualizing, model creation, and SSC or WCSS finding, and fourth one is elbow plot. The first step is import modules and dataset. We are importing pandas, matplotlib, and sklearn.cluster. Under that there is a k-means algorithm. So we are using these three. You can see here these four are iris features and this is iris labels. Now let us import dataset. I am importing iris.csv here. There is also another way of importing iris dataset, that is from sklearn module, sklearn.dataset module. Here you can use load iris function to import dataset. The second step is visualization. Now we are visualizing petal length and petal width from the dataset. To understand more on that, this is a visualization graph. Then the third step is creating the k-means model. This is the simplest way of creating k-means model. There are other ways too. There is a advanced way of creating the k-means model that will be a little bit tricky and it will be a difficult one if you are a beginner. So this is the easiest one which I am providing here. So you can go through this and for creating k-means model. Here you can see k range is equal to 1 to 10. I have provided for 10 clusters. We are using k-means algorithm here. For k in k range, for each 1 to 10 clusters, we are using k-means algorithm here. We are providing 10 clusters and fitting the data of petal length and petal width. And we are taking the inertia. I'll be explaining what is sum of squared error later. Now let us go to fourth step, that is elbow plot. We are plotting the elbow plot to get what is the optimum number of clusters as we had the task. So I am taking k range. k ranges there are 10 clusters, so I am using 10 here, comma sum of squared error, which we got here, sum of square error. So when we plot here, you can check in the graph that there is a point where it reaches 3 and extends directly. So the optimum clusters which we get is 3 here. What is WCSS or SSE? That is sum of squared error or within cluster sum of squares. I have provided a graph here to understand better on WCSS here. There are two clusters, for example, cluster 1 C1 and cluster 2 C2. Maximum distance between these clusters is known as WCSS or SSE. This was the task till here which we had to find. Now let us go a little deeper into it to predict which cluster group particular row belongs to. We are taking three clusters here and fitting the data of petal length and petal width and predicting the label which the cluster belongs to. Here you can see the output of the predicted value, that is 0, 1, 2, which we have given for different species here. So we are adding a column of this predicted value to the dataset, and you can see Iris setosa is 1 here. I have taken three clusters here because we have only three species, Iris setosa, virginica and versicolor. So I am plotting that three clusters here by taking 0, 1, 2 values and adding separately to three datasets. The centroid of the cluster is given by clustered centers. You can see for one cluster, that is 4 and 1, second cluster is 1, 0, and third cluster is 5, 2 here. Now let us plot these three clusters here. I am plotting for petal length and petal width, as I mentioned earlier, and we get this graph. For Iris virginica, it is in between other two, setosa and versicolor. You can check it here. By this graph, we get a findings. If petal length and petal width is more than Iris versicolor, you can see it is in green color, Iris versicolor. If the petal length and petal width is less than Iris setosa, that is in orange color. If petal length and petal width is in between, then Iris virginica. You can check it here. The Iris virginica, which is in blue color, is in between 3 to 5. So that is in between these centimeters. So these are the findings for petal. Similarly, you can do it for sepal length and sepal width. This is a simple graph of sepal length and sepal width. After using k-means clustering algorithm, you get this classification of iris sepal. You can check it here. The code and CSV file is available at GitHub, that is Analyst spot. You can go through there and you can download the code and you can work on that. This is a simple code which I have explained and easiest way that any beginners will understand by this code. I have provided the link for the GitHub here. Note that do fork the repository so that you can review and use whenever you want. It will be stored in your repository too. I'll also be providing the advanced way of how to classify iris dataset using k-means clustering. So you can go to my GitHub Analyst spot and you can find more projects under this. Do check them out. I have provided here all the graphs and all the codes and CSV files here. For any updations or any queries, do comment them below. I'll be creating more videos on data science and analytics. Do like and subscribe for more.